What's up guys, hopefully you can hear me okay. Gonna go through the install of the USB port on the GSX-8R. Looking at the install instructions, they want you to rip apart the whole front dash. Probably not needed though, it's looking like, so I'm gonna show you how I plan on doing it. So to start with, on the front where the socket cover is, I thought that was something that was gonna pop out, but it looks like you actually have to cut in the groove to get that hole. That's where you're going to feed the USB port through. So I'm going to go ahead and get some towels or something taped around here just for some protection so I can cut that out. Got some towels taped up around the port here, probably a little bit overkill, but I'm going to try to now cut along this groove right here. I've got a case cutter with a fresh blade in it. Now I'm going to just push in rather than try to actually pull and cut to hopefully avoid any slipping. So we'll see how this goes. And that seems to cut through very easily. So this should not be a big deal. Got most of the side there, try to get a little bit of the corner. Bottom is a little tricky because of the angle, but if you start with the top, it looks like this is gonna push out of the way. I think we are pretty much good there. All right. See if we can pop this off from this side. If not, we'll be able to grab it from the other side, but And there we go. Alright, down underneath the bike now. The next piece we're going to have to remove is going to be this center cowl. I've actually already pulled it out, but I threw it back in here just to show you how to do it. So you're going to have a bunch of these push pins. They are going to be popped in like that. There's going to be about 10 of them all around this piece here. You're going to want to push this center circle in with either a small Allen wrench or screwdriver. Let me see if I can do this one-handed. Hopefully that's showing up on camera there, but that's going to pop the middle circle down. Once that's down, these will obviously still be in just like that. Again, that middle circle was pushed up in, and then that will be able, if I can get my nail back under there, we'll be able to pop out. So you're going to do that on all 10 of those. And then once you have those popped out, to reset them, again, this is hard one-handed, I apologize. You're going to push it back up from the bottom, and you're going to see it raise out the top. And that's how you're going to want to leave them for now until we get back to the reinstall. Once you get all those out, this piece is going to be pretty flimsy and loose here. A lot of it's going to pull back because it's going to be behind some of the other bodywork around here, but also, if you can see where my finger is, this hole right here, and this hole right here, that's actually a plastic clip that your turn signal wires are going to be running through. And then if you go just to the outside of either one of those, there's another rectangular clip that the two connectors sit into. If you reach behind, you're going to be able to just kind of pull up on them and they're going to pop right out. It's not very difficult. So once you have those off, everything should be free. Just going to start working this guy out. Yep, then my light just tipped over. This is obviously a lot easier if you have both hands. Go back that way. There we go. Again, that'll be a lot easier if you have both hands free. So again, these are the turn signal wires right here I was talking about that are just going to be in the clamp on behind. So you're just going to want to pop those off so you can make sure that thing can drop freely without pulling on your turn signal wires, obviously. So the next thing you want to find under here, if I can get the camera, a light, and my finger. Let's see if I can get that turned up just a little bit. So right here, this plug is going to be tied up to your wire loom there, and it's going to have a small cap just like this guy right here already installed in it. It's going to look identical to the end of the plug coming off of the USB adapter, except again this is just a cap that's going to be installed in. So you're going to want to push on, let's see if I can get this in frame here. So the small tab that my thumb's by right there, you're going to want to push down on that. And then I ended up using a pair of needle nose pliers to grab onto the front end over here. So then while I was pushing that, then I pulled with the pliers and this little plug popped right out. And that's going to expose that plug right there that the USB port is going to plug into. So at this point, we've got the hole cut, we've got the plug ready to go in. So all we really need to do is actually run the USB port through. Alright, so back up at the hole, we've got our USB kit here with our connector, the white connector, the black connector. Just want to show real quick, this is the plug that I just showed pulling out underneath. As you can see, it looks identical to the actual plug on the USB kit. So this one, once we get there, we'll just plug in the same way this came out. Alright, so to start with, obviously we can't just feed this whole thing through because this large box will not fit through that hole, which is why they designed it with the white plug in the middle. So we're going to push down on the white tab. So here's the USB port. Here's your rectangle, just so you know what direction I'm going in. The white tab closest to that rectangle. I'm just going to push down on that. Might need to get something to push it down a little further. Oh, there we go, got it with my fingernail. If not, you can use a little Allen head, the same thing maybe you used to pop out the popper if it's underneath, to just push down on the tab. But that will disconnect, and then we just want the piece with the actual USB port and the one white plug there. So it does look like the clips that ultimately are going to go in are on center. So just in case you would have a preference here which orientation it's facing, this would be the time to decide that, because once we put this in and clip in, because we didn't take apart the whole dash, it's going to be a little more difficult to actually get in and push these to get it back out. For me, I don't think I really care, so we're just going to put it in that way. Good enough wiggle. Oh, I do. Okay. So just let me pull that back out here. So hopefully you guys can see when you get it kind of snug like that here. I could go back and trim a little more, but I just kind of put it on an angle and force the top in, and then kind of swung it in, and it seems to be going right in. So we're gonna push for the snap there. And that part is done. Now we'll go underneath and get it plugged in. Okay, so one thing I did overlook here real quick we gotta do is get the mounting Velcro on both pieces. So once we get it plugged in and we're going to put this back together, it will go how we want it. So I'm just gonna take one of those off for now. So these are going to mount, obviously Velcro side up on each, but one is gonna go on the back side of the rectangle, so closer to where these screw mounts ultimately would be, even though we are not using screws. So that one will go like that. This one, so this is exactly how this would be with the front of the bike, right side of the bike, left side of the bike. This is the clip, the inner clip that the wiring for your left-hand turn signal will be running through. So this one is going to mount right behind that clip. Now before we stick these on though, especially this, if you can see all the dirt on it, these need to be cleaned off with a little rubbing alcohol. So I'll start with this guy, yeah, because he should be pretty much clean already. Just gonna rub that a couple times there. Let that sit, that will dry within seconds. Gonna come over here to this guy and do the same, right where it's going to mount there. And you can see it basically instantly dry up if the camera is catching that. Get some of the residue off. All right. Get that off of my seat. Okay. So now it is as simple as peeling the back off and sticking it on each of those. So there's that one. Gonna set that aside. Now obviously you could be doing this not on your bike seat. Alcohol cleaned up. Gonna set this piece aside. And peel the backing off of the second one. And again, front, right side, left side. So this is exactly how this would be on the bike. And it's gonna go right over, assuming that is in frame. Come on, it's stuck to my finger. Come on, there we go. So right about there. This doesn't have to be exact. As long as it's in the area, it's basically to just keep the rectangle from bouncing around once we get it all hooked back together. So now that that's done, now we can go back under the front of the bike and actually get this thing plugged in. All right, so we're back under the bike. I'm gonna have to put the camera down to actually plug it in, but just to show, you've got the white plug that we fed through from the port up top, so that's dangling there. Then we have the black plug. You can see that hopefully, that my finger's touching right there, that the other end is going to plug into. So I'm just going to put the camera down and get both of those ends plugged in. Okay, so once that's plugged in here, see obviously white end just snaps into there. Black end snaps in over there. You're going to feel a click when they go in. They're pretty easy to push in there, so you shouldn't have any problem. So now all we need to do is basically button this up and get this plastic piece put back on, remembering to push these, the signal wires on both sides, into the channels, as well as Velcro this on. Now I will say you don't necessarily need to do that beforehand. You're going to be able to kind of reach up behind once it's on there, but it is preference if you want to snap them in beforehand and then put it up, or do it afterwards. It's, again, whatever you prefer. Okay, so real quick, I just want to show here, that is the turn signal wire as it should be into both the wire clamp and the connector clamp right there. So just so you can see, that's what it will look like when you take it down. So again, you're just going to pop those out, take it down, pop them back in when you're installing. Coming around to the other side here real quick. So you can see the rectangle mount is on with the Velcro, but again, the turn signal wire, it's hard to see, but that's back behind it. And then the same wire loom clip is directly behind the rectangle that the turn signal wire will go into. So this is how it should look before you actually put this bottom plastic piece back up in place. Now to do that, you're going to want to make sure to start with these upper tabs. For example, this one is going to go up and in behind this, the same with this, and going all around so it tucks in and looks like it does. I'm going to need both hands for this though, so I'm going to go ahead and get this placed back in, and then I'll put the camera back on before I put the plastic pins back in. Alright, so I've got this upper piece back in place under here. It can look, I mean, I don't have the pins in, but if you hold it up, everything should be lined up all around the seams and basically look exactly like it did before you took it out. So once you get it to that point, again, make sure all of your plastic pins are reset, so they should be pushed from the bottom so they're sticking out the top. And then we just go around each hole. We're going to push that in so it's in like that, and then the part sticking out, we're going to push in until we hear a small click, and then that's back in. So we're just going to go around and do that for all of the other ones real quick. 3 more going along here. Alright, all those should be in, and everything is buttoned up. Now we just need to go test it out. Hopefully it works, and we're good to go. Alright, we are ready to test. I'm just going to try plugging into my X3 up here to get the charging light to come on. Plug that guy in there. That guy in there. This should be switched power, so we shouldn't see any light yet, which we don't. Put it into accessory, and immediately it's on. We have success. And again, that is switched power, so even if you accidentally leave something plugged in, when you turn off your bike, you notice the charging light went off, so you're not going to end up draining your battery from leaving something plugged in. But that's pretty much it to get this port installed. Hope you enjoyed.